And Veronica is actually fixing to celebrate her 4-year Hope anniversary. That's incredible. We're so lucky to have you on here. And she's the director, one of our directors here at Trades of Hope. And she's married to her high school sweetheart, and they have 3 beautiful boys together. They are so adorable. Victor's 10, Maximus is 6, and Caspian is 2 already. I don't even know how that's possible. And her proudest achievement in her Trades of Hope business has been to has been to continue in the face of challenges. We know that there's a lot of hard external and internal, and she has persevered, and she is simply amazing. We're so blessed to have you here, Veronica. She's been to Costa Rica and to Haiti. She got to visit our artisans there. And she has her long-term sights set on a national executive director, which I know you'll get there because you are totally sold out for this mission. And she, on top of everything else that she does, she homeschools her 2 oldest boys and is trying to figure out what to do with a toddler in the midst of it all. I'm sure there's a lot of women out there that can relate to that. So today she's going to... Yes. Today she's going to talk to us about having a belief mindset and the importance of personal development mixed in there. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Veronica. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. This is fun because I can actually see you. Usually, you know, when you do live, you just are talking to yourself and assuming a person. So I can actually talk to you.
I know, it's so fun.
So this is fun. Thanks, everybody. I actually turned the comments off because I get super distracted by comments, but I will go back and read comments later because I love y'all, and I know that some of you had even texted me this morning and said you'd be praying, and it's funny because as much as I'm comfortable talking to people, I've been so nervous about doing this call. So I did actually like type out what I wanted to say and just kind of get an idea. So I want to respect all of our time, so I'm going to jump right in. So today I'm going to be embarrassingly honest about really just a lot of things about my business. And the heart behind it is to break down any fantasies that you might have around what my business looks like or what a director's business looks like. Because I know that even a year ago, I was really struggling with my business because I was comparing myself to the fantasy that I had for somebody else's business. And it really was discouraging. And so it's probably going to make us all uncomfortable, myself included. But just know the heart behind it is really to just like break down those barriers. And I hope that you will give yourself one thing, and that is grace. Grace for your business, grace for your journey, because we're all on a separate journey, and we all are on these individual journeys that are amazing, and this adventures that sometimes are rocky and crazy, but the best stories always have those moments where you're like, this is impossible, but then they rise up. So I've been, to start with the vulnerability, I've been twice in the past 8 days on the verge of tears because of my business, and because, more accurately, because of my insecurities that my business rises. The first time was I was driving home from a home party, and it went nothing like I had hoped it would. I had really had my goals and sights on certain things, and it just didn't happen. And I was, you know, just wrestling with the feelings around that. The second time was I was sitting down this weekend to make some booking calls, and I was frustrated with myself at how much energy, mental and emotional, I had to like rile up inside myself to get myself to actually make the calls. And so these ideas of scarcity and overwhelmedness and fear were so loud. You know, it wasn't the first time that I have been on the verge of tears or actually cried as part of my Trades of Hope journey. And I know it won't be the last. When we were in Costa Rica, we had the privilege of going to Ivania's house. She is one of the artisans that makes actually the Costa Rat bracelet, which I love. She makes it from her home in right near the Artisan Center, and she works from home and is able to provide for her boys and their education. But she makes the bracelets from home because she has a son who has special needs who can't be left alone, and she is able to do that. And just to hear her speaking and her overwhelming gratitude, like I was like literally bawling. Like at times I'm like turning, facing the wall, like I hate the term ugly cry, but I was like bawling. I was like, I'm like, okay, pull yourself together. It was just so overwhelming. Let's see, other tear moments. I remember at one of the retreats that I thought like, okay, I'm gonna hit director by this retreat. And then that retreat came, and I was not director. I think I was a manager, which is awesome, but I just hadn't hit my goal. And so I just remember like grieving that. I remember facing up this past summer a year ago and thinking, oh my gosh, Mushtak and Conwell are going to be at the conference, and I have not done my 5 qualified QCEs that some of us committed to that. And I just remember the overwhelming like guilt and shame of that and thinking, oh, and being on the verge of tears. So why do I share all this with you? What does that have anything to do with personal development and belief mindset? The whole idea is, when I was thinking about these things, was that each of these opportunities, and so many opportunities that we have, is an opportunity to tap out, to say, I can't do this. This is too much. I'm not cut out for this. I don't have the right skill set. I don't have the right whatever circle of friends, fill in the blank. I mean, y'all know the internal talk that we can put inside of our head to limit ourselves to what we can accomplish. And so, in the midst of these challenges, in the midst of these things that have, that have been roadblocks, how have I continued for 4 years almost? On the 28th, it'll be 4 years, to continue on and continue to empower artisans, continue in this work. And I have 2 main things. One of them is definitely personal development. And before that, I'll just mention that anytime I think about quitting, I literally envision myself walking up to Ileana, who is one of the leaders of the Costa Rica group, and I envision myself telling her that I'm quitting. Mm. And I can't do it. Like, I'm like, nope, I don't care what I gotta do, I will press on. And I envision myself, telling Miss Florence in Uganda. I envision myself telling Jenia in Haiti that I'm quitting. And I'm like, nope. Because I know that whatever struggle I have sitting here making phone calls, and whatever frustration I have, in whatever I'm doing in my business, is nothing compared to what she's dealing with. And I can press through that. I can grow through that. I have a world of opportunity around me that I can grow through to be able to empower her and to be able to give her the opportunity to continue on to empower the women around her. And so that's one of the things that keeps me on this journey, honestly, is I have very seriously taken the commitment that I have to our artisans, and the long-term commitment, the marathon, so to speak. And then the other thing is that in the midst of all of it, I know who I am, I know whose I am, and I know who I'm becoming. Mm-hmm. And there's been times, and this is another bit of the hard to share, but there's been plenty of times, there's been plenty of months where my PRV that month, or my, as we've been starting to call it lately, my contribution to the collective buying power that we have to the artisans, that might have been 0. In the past 4 years, there have been many months. There's been months in a row where I have not sponsored a new CE. These are not things that I'm saying that are like in a pride thing. It's like there's reality. But you know what? I know that I'm a leader. I know that I'm an encourager. I know that I'm a connector and a grower. So in the midst of my lowest productivity months, I've thought, okay, I can still encourage people to do this because I believe in what we're doing. I can still believe in them. And you, if you're watching it, if y'all know who you are, that we've talked, and it's like, I can cheer you on. I will be your biggest cheerleader. Even if I'm struggling, because I believe in what we're doing. I can tap into the joy of this journey and encourage each of us to find it, because I know it's there. It's who I am. It's who I am is loved. Who I am is worth fighting for and fought for. Who I am is pursued, chosen, delighted in, empowered. And this is not because of my business or my productivity in my business. It's not because of my marriage. It's not because of anything except for what God has done in my life and for me. And that security and that groundedness in my identity in Christ gives me the solid grounding to be able to press through and to not become swallowed up by the shame or the guilt of when I don't reach my successes, if that makes sense. So I can stand on those truths and I can speak those truths into others. Um, and there's this verse about how the potter makes the different pots for noble purposes and for common purposes. And there's been times where I've kind of come to the thought, like, what if I'm never going to be like a national executive director, for example? What if I'm not ever going to be that? And I think, what if, is it enough for me to be part of the sisterhood to encourage others and to keep that going? And there's been, I've come to the point where I've been like, yes, like if I never, reach my goals or my high lofty goals, if I can keep people going towards that finish line, that's enough sometimes. And so, it comes down to like, do I trust my potter, the one who made me and wherever I am in that season? I also know where I'm going. I have a vision board. Actually, show you my vision board because the beauty of technology. Let's see. So this is my vision board, and it is right by my office. It's in my office, and it just has a bunch of stuff, including Wonder Woman and whitewater rafting and all these fun things, and they all mean different things. But and one thing I will just caveat, I have not always had an office. We moved 6 months ago, and I have an office now, which was like, please, Lord, let me please have an office in our new house. But we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, 5 of us. My office was in the dining room table, so please don't let that distract you that I have an office, because yeah. But I also, like I said, I know where I'm going. I have this vision board that has words on it, and some of the words make sense to like who I am and like how I live right now. There's words such as musician, well-grounded, activist, giving, growing. So those are words that like make sense. And then there's words that like I want to rise into, if you know what I'm saying. Like they don't actually describe me yet. But I hope that they will before I die, or even, way before that. So there's words like focused and hardworking and disciplined and humble and fun. Some of you that will have gone to Haiti will appreciate this one. And I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Fanvania, which is warrior woman. So like there's words that I have in front of me that's like, this is who I want to be. Let me take a drink real quick. So in direct sales, a lot of times people are motivated by money, luxury, vacations, and all those kind of things. And for me, honestly, it just doesn't do it. Like I could have a picture of the nicest car and be like, I don't really care. I like my Santa Fe. Like my Santa Fe is awesome. It's curvy like me. So like that doesn't do it for me. So I've been wrestling a long time to figure out a driver that can get me moving when I don't feel like it, because I have this stubborn personality, and if I don't feel like doing anything, there's nobody that's going to tell me to do it, even myself. Like it's not good. It's seriously not good. And so sadly, even like having pictures of the artisans up and being able to see those is not enough sometimes. And so I'm like, what can I have that like can get me out of myself? And so lately I've been realizing that one of the things that has clicked as an internal driver for me is growth. And that's growth into who God's created me to be. And like that actually like is really exciting to me, because it's like, we've been put on here for a purpose. And like I tell my boys, a special adventure just for us. And like, we have to rise to whoever that is that's going to take that adventure and become this person through that adventure. And so it is really exciting to me. And so successes or challenges, every relationship connection, whether it's with y'all CEs or home team or founders or a hostess or a stranger, like it all becomes part of this chance to grow into the best version of who I am created to be. And so, it's taking, it's thinking about whose responsibility is it to grow my business? It's mine. Like whose responsibility? Like think about that to yourself. Whose responsibility is it to grow my business? It is yours. It is mine to grow my business. My success is up to me. And so some practical ways that I like have owned that for myself and have worked on my personal growth are, we have a little thing in our team page, and Jenna Vanderwide puts up our planner check-in every week, and I plan my week. I look at my week, and it's a great opportunity for my husband and I to get on the same page and make sure that the things that I'm putting my time into are things that are where I want to be putting my time into. I have my vision board. I have words of the year. Jess Argetsinger actually inspired me to do this years ago. And this year I actually have three, which is breaking the rules, but I gave myself permission to do that. I have grounded. And if you can envision a tree, there's grounded, and that's the roots. Core is the trunk, and then exponential is the branches. So those are my words for the year. And I have them in front of me. I think about them often. I listen to audiobooks a lot. I actually just chose this year to stick to 6 books, and I'm not reading any more books, but I'll re-listen to them because they're so rich and so many things that I want to take. And there's areas that I really need to grow in. And so I've chosen I have an Audible subscription, and so I do that. I listen to podcasts, I watch YouTube videos, and they're just, when you have an area that you want to grow in, there are countless resources at your disposal. Yeah, for free mostly, and then or for very little that you can use and tap into. One thing I've taken seriously is garbage in, garbage out. It's actually a programming term that if you put garbage language in your coding, then whatever you spit out is going to be garbage. And so that is like something that's, I don't know, I think I picked it up when I was a kid from my parents, and garbage in, garbage out. So I'm very careful of the movies I watch, the shows that I watch, the music that I listen to, like all that kind of stuff. Like, is this feeding into what I want to be thinking about myself, the world, the people around me? And I enter into accountability relationships. Jamie Driggers right now is my accountability partner, and like she has full, and I have a bunch of you that I talk to on different levels, and I'm like, call me out. It's not fun all the time, but it's okay. To persevere on this journey, you have to be in a space where you are keeping hope alive. And to be honest, like being hopeful, to hold hope is vulnerable, because you are having the audacity to think that like you have the power to change someone's life, or you have the power to change the world in some way. And that's a vulnerable space to stay in. And so we need people that are gonna like bolster us up and like, yes, that is true. Like in the midst of the craziness of our world, like that is true. Let's keep on this mission. So one of the biggest takeaways from when I went to Costa Rica was I remember meeting like Penny that started Seeds of Hope, and even spending time with like Natalie and Chelsea from the home team and founder, and just like all these women who were doing like these amazing things. And just remember thinking like, she's so normal. Like she's just such a like normal person with like struggles and thoughts like I have. And I just remember this like, oh, and getting to know so many other women who have done incredible things through this journey. Like, we're all just normal women. So why do some women get to do amazing things and others are, numbing out, binge watching Netflix? Like, what's the difference? And it really comes down to choice. The quicker that you will own your choice to be the captain of your own ship, the faster that you'll see yourself sailing in the direction of purpose and where you're created to be. I myself have been a blamer. I myself have taken the martyr role. I've been a whiner. And do you know where that leads? It leads to frustration. It leads to victim thinking. And it's a downward spiral that no one can get you out of. Do you know what's empowering? Acknowledging where I need strengthening, and then spending time addressing it with whatever resources I find. Like, that's a whole different mindset. Do you hear the difference in that? Like my calendar, let's say, I was just trying to think of a tangible example. So your calendar doesn't look like you want to. My calendar, I don't have as many parties on it as I want to. I could take the blame route. I could blame the season of the year. I could blame my circle of friends, the economy. I could blame my past hostesses, the leadership and Trades of Hope, like you name it. You can blame whoever you want to, right? So, or I could have myself a personal booking blitz. I can send those messages. I can make those phone calls. I can review the app lessons on bookings. I can hop on YouTube, see what other direct sales gals are doing. I can find vendor events. I can network. I can allow myself to think outside the box. Like, do you hear the difference in how empowering that is? One of them is like, oh, I'm a victim. I can't do anything about it. And the other one's like, you know what? I get to own my life and my business, and I get to be who I see that it is not this found. I love when the founders say this. It is not an excuse that you were part of Trades of Hope. Like you were prayed into Trades of Hope, and I believe that. I've just okay, yes, I believe it. And there's been times where I've been discouraged, where I just have to remember that this is not an accident that I stumbled on Trades of Hope, and I don't think it's an accident that you did either. Um, so who do you want to be? And will you give yourself the permission to get yourself there? A lot of you have been told through your life lies about, where your growth can go to or who you can be. And you've been given limitations and you've been given a box that you can be who this, but who do you want to be? Who do you think God is calling you to be? And will you give yourself permission to go there, to get yourself there, to figure out the resources, to ask for help, to ask for things? I love this illustration. I don't know if I came up with it, but it's been in my head for years. And it's just this idea of we're all part of an orchestra and we need each of our sounds to complete what Trades of Hope is. And I love the French horn. It's kind of a random instrument, but I love the sound of it. And so, but if Megan is a violin or a cello, should she be frustrated that her violin doesn't sound like a French horn? No. And so embrace your uniqueness, because that's how we make this complete sound, this complete picture of what is needed for ourselves and for the artisans. So I'll close with this. We went blueberry picking this past week here in Florida. It's summer already, so sorry, all y'all up north. So we went blueberry picking. And you know where I should have just brought some. I have a whole bunch in my fridge, and they're these fat, big old blueberries. And do you know where those blueberries are? So you have to squat down and you have to go into the bush, because the ones that are eye level and the ones that are on the outside of the bushes are all picked through. You'll find little tiny shrivelly up ones, but you squat down and you dig deep. That's where the good stuff is. And so there's a parallel there. And so I just want to leave you with that mental picture for yourself. We need you as the Trades of Hope Sisterhood, as a Trades of Hope family. You bring something to the table, to the orchestra, to the song that nobody else does. The artists and partners around the world need you, and to strip it all down, you need you. You need yourself showing up, because that speaks the truth into who you are, and to the truth into the value that you have as created for a specific adventure that's just for you. It's worth showing up. It's worth digging deep. It's worth it because you get to live. You get to live the life that you were intended for. And if the day ever comes that you need to step back and cheer people on, I get it. I had a baby in the midst of this 4-year journey. We've moved. There's been seasons where I'm I just I don't need to get out. I just need to take a step back. You know what? Be the best cheerleader you know then, and cheer on the sisterhood, because and then when you're ready, you step right back in, because there is nobody in this sisterhood that is looking at you and thinking, well, what she should have done, or she did this or that, or you know what? There's no all that pressure and stuff. That is not from us. That is not from the leadership. That is not from the founders. Take all that off. It's not yours. So you step right back in, and you jump back into your journey of growth and of empowerment. So I just want to encourage you, don't ever quit. We need you, artisans need you, you need you, don't ever quit. There's too much at stake. So just to wrap up, I want to invite you to, in the comments, to just say something that you, a nugget that you want to remember, and then also an action step, something one little step that you want to take out of something I said. And then let's just keep each other accountable. Hey, how's that thing going? So I hope this has been helpful to you in some way. I hope I didn't go too far over time, and I love y'all. Bye.
That was great. And honestly, I feel like that was such a God thing, because I'm kind of watching the comments, Veronica, and I think that you have just been speaking into, I saw a lot of, that's exactly how I'm feeling. That's exactly what I'm going through. So first of all, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that, because sometimes that's a scary thing, but that's what God uses to really minister to other people. And I just want to encourage all of you, that is gold. We all go through that. we all have those times where we're down on ourselves or we feel like we should be doing more, but we also all go through seasons. So learning to just really embrace the season that you're in, and just that's why we need each other, you know, and I highly encourage each of you, if you do not have an accountability partner, match up with someone. When you see people commenting down in that post, pray about it. Who do you feel connected to? And reach out to them and see if they'll be an accountability partner for you, because this can be hard. You know, Veronica's shared a lot of vulnerable things, and I've known you for so many years now, and it's just, the one thing I would say about you, Veronica, is you are just a warrior. Like, I've never heard the complaints. You were strong, and I'm just so thankful that you opened up and shared that, because it's resonating with a lot of people. So
Good. Yeah. And I will say about accountability partners, they don't have to be like, it can be any CE. Jamie Driggers, who I mentioned before,
yeah,
she's on a totally different team. We have different nations. Like, it doesn't have to
and
be.
sometimes that's even better, because you get so used to the way your team does things, but you might find out that, like, oh, I really like how she's doing that process or whatever, and
Yeah.
you're growing together. So that's awesome. And just my little tidbit, I get told a lot from people that, like, because I was the same way, like, I just don't have time for personal development. And I want to encourage you, like, when I do my personal development, it's when I'm in the shower and getting ready in the morning. I turn my phone on where I can hear it, and that's like an easy 20, 30, 40 minutes, depending on how long, you know, it takes you to get ready, that you don't even have to pick up a book and read it. You're just doing it and it's soaking in.
Oh,
So
yeah. I'm totally in an, like, that's why I have Audible. Honestly, I don't read right now. Like,
I love
so my
Audible.
personal development is when I'm like doing chores and laundry and dishes and stuff, or when I'm driving, or when I'm, you know, like random pockets, like in the morning when getting ready. Like,
Yep.
it's not, yeah, there are seasons.
There's seasons, and then just learning. I think though a lot of the growth comes from, okay, I'm in this season, and like learning how to adapt to that season and making it work for you, instead of, like you said, like making the excuses or being the martyr for, well, I'm just too busy, I can't, you know, it's not my fault that my kids are everywhere. But you can find the time, you just have to really want to do it.
Yeah, this is
um,
a quote that my husband used to, I think he got it from a book, but he always used to say, like, when I would say, I can't, he would say, instead of saying I can't, say, how can I? And it would
like that.
frustrate the mess out of me for so long. But now it's like part of my thinking, like, I can't, oh, wait, how can I do that? And so
Yeah,
it gets that
I always
creative part going.
True. I always went the one that I would be like, I can't means I won't. So when you say I can't, you're basically, if you replace that says I won't, you're like, well, I will, but it
Yeah.
kind of like is that mindset. So exactly. So